We're here at the Portland Art Museum in the European Gallery, standing in front of Gustave Courbet's self-portrait, The Violoncellist, from 1847.
Which is a really early painting for Courbet.
It's among the earliest groups of self-portraits, and it's a self-portrait in which he casts himself in the role of another creative activity, music.
It is a painting that is really about the way that he presents himself in the world. In a sense, a kind of theater.
Yes, he emerges, his face, his hands, the highlights on the cello, from this gloom. That surface is built up layer after layer of scumbled, glazed paint. And that's why you get a certain amount of alligatoring, of the splitting of the pigment, because Courbet spends time with this picture.
The touch of the brushwork, especially on the face and on the hands, is so glorious, but it seems to embody almost the history of art and the history of rendering human flesh. I think about the Baroque traditions of Velázquez. I think about Rubens.
Yes, absolutely. You have this process of the physicality of the hand emerging from the layering of thick and thin paint, transparent and translucent, so that you feel the veins, the blood virtually coursing through the fingers as they stretch and extend onto the strings of the cello, as his face turns to us, lips full and in a kind of defiant, almost challenging expression. It is night, it is the moment of creation. I love the stretch of the finger to strum the thread.
I can't help but look at the hand that holds the bow as if that was a paintbrush. And those are the hands, of course, that actually rendered these hands. There's a kind of turning back on itself that's very self-conscious.
Yes.
There's a kind of romantic quality in the way that he renders himself, a kind of self-regard that is quite astonishing, really.
That's Courbet, the ego. I mean, this is a man who, although society rejected him in many ways and the salon moved back and forth in its praise, he never doubted the sense of himself as a young Turk, as a master, as an appropriator of the past and a reinventor of the present, looking to a future he could only anticipate at this point in his career.
The radical bravery of what he's done in the upper right-hand corner is incredible. Can you tell us a little bit about the sheet music?
He takes the portrait he's created of himself and changes his mind. He cuts the upper right-hand corner out and he inserts a rendering of sheet music as if the music is standing there. The tradition, which he himself as an artist rejects, here embodied, I think, by the sheet music. It forms the basis for the second version of this painting, which is in the Stockholm Museum and is slightly smaller than this first version.
His willingness to actually cut in, it just seems impossible that an artist would be willing to make that kind of move in the mid-19th century.
Oh, it empowers Picasso in the 20th century to cut a corner, to overlap, to re-edit himself in the canvas directly.
And to make that visible to the viewer.
Public, yes.
And to allow that process to be, in a sense, subject.
Yes. Well, and that's the modernity of Courbet. He gives us not only the image and the power of that image, but he allows us to understand this is a creation of man.